Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
We did it! Oh my God, we did it!
And after a 22-year absence, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again. Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
You're rebuilding. This is what you want. You got assets. So draft picks, young players. This is how you start over and rebuild. They could be in position to get one of those top lottery picks and then maybe get a potential star.
In some ways ideal because they're not expected to do much this season, so he can learn on the job, learn what it takes about being an NBA coach, learn the league and its personnel, and adjust while the Celtics are in this rebuilding mode.
And Rondo is perfectly happy to be part of the Celtics going forward. He's coming off a torn ACL. He's going to have time to adjust. But he is the only player left from the 2008 and 2010 finals teams of the Boston Celtics.
With the 6th pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Marcus Smart from Oklahoma State University.
Obviously, I'm very excited to be here. Coming from a great situation in Boston, and very thankful for all the things they did for me and the fan base, but I'm ready to start a new chapter here as a Dallas Maverick.
Thomas has been caught up in the Suns' point guard drama this year. He's averaging over 15 points per game and shooting a career-high 39% from deep on the year. Plus, he's got 3 years left on his contract, which declines in value every season.
They have a young core. They're not in a rebuilding mode. So I think considering that these guys are going to be around for a while, they're all young, they're all hungry, and they've got a coach in Brad Stevens. It's going to be just great for them going forwards to experience this playoff atmosphere.
Obviously, when you're coaching the Boston Celtics or you're playing for the Boston Celtics, making the playoffs and getting swept in the first round, it's not a pleasant experience, but it was a great learning experience for all of us.
With the 16th pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Terry Rozier from University of Louisville.
I was kind of worried about Isaiah Thomas, but I'm glad the coaches selected him. You know, he's having a fabulous year. You know, he does a lot for that team. He's the smallest player on the floor. Really happy for him.
Ball is bobbled. There comes Chris Paul. He'll go all the way to the goal. Block from behind. A chase down block by the 5'9" Thomas. I mean, it just worked out perfectly.
I ride with these guys. The wheels fall off. I mean, this is a special group. Hopefully we can all stick together and have something special in the future, but you know, I love those guys in the locker room.
With the 3rd pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown from the University of California, Berkeley.
Then you also have a plethora of big men to go along with them. They can bounce Al around at the 4, some 5. They can play him in a lot of different areas. Great coaching staff with Brad Stevens. So there's probably a lot of different things that he really, really loved about that organization. I can see why he chose Boston over Atlanta.
Isaiah Thomas is a legitimate MVP candidate. He's also 5'9". The story itself is appealing. That this guy can be that good, have that positive an impact on the fortunes of his team.
Thomas makes his move, fall-away jumper. Get that little hesitation, challenge. He faced just enough to get his shot off.
An ovation for Thomas, Horford, Crowder, Bradley. The Boston Celtics survive and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were taken to the limit by the Washington Wizards.
The Boston Celtics, as a result of their trade with Brooklyn, have the best odds for the number 1 pick at 25%.
And that means that the number 1 pick in the 2000 NBA Draft goes to the Boston Celtics.
Isaiah Thomas may be the Celtics' smallest player, but he's definitely their biggest star. And after last night's loss, the news for the Green has only gotten worse. Isaiah Thomas has been ruled out for the remainder of the postseason. He has a hip injury, and he's done for the year.
The Celtics, the team that moves down and feel they can still get a very good player or the guy that they want while acquiring future number 1 draft picks, that team is the winner.
With the 3rd pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jayson Tatum from Duke University.
Is it Young? No. Is it another guard that you can use? No. But you can always start Jaylen Brown in the 2
You see
spot.
those categories? All 4 of them?
Yeah.
The one on the left was better than the one on the right, and they lost the one on the left.
Gordon Hayward this year, they've started to establish themselves again as a destination franchise in the league. This is a team that Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens has to believe can compete for an Eastern Conference championship.
Between the Celtics and the Cavs that would basically swap the starting point guard for the two teams that faced off in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Kyrie Irving going to Boston, Isaiah Thomas going to Cleveland, along with some other players and a draft pick.
You realize the incredible roster turnover when you consider only 4 Celtics return from last year's team. The C's marketing the new big 3 of Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, and Al Horford. Head coach Brad Stevens saying it's like he took a new job with this new group.
Celtics forward Gordon Hayward was brought here to New England Baptist Hospital in Boston overnight with a fractured left ankle. The arena in Cleveland fell silent with everyone in disbelief. Hayward was taken out on a stretcher and flown back to Boston.
The Celtics didn't first show up. Gordon Hayward goes down. The Celtics licked their wounds and then decided that despite an entire league declaring their season over, they'd just show up anyway. And
Celtics star Kyrie Irving underwent surgery today. The operation removed 2 screws from his left knee from a previous surgery. They expect Irving to be fully healthy for training camp next fall.
Well, they virtually plummet. I mean, they're relatively non-existent. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were knocked out in the first round. Kyrie Irving is out. The absence of Kyrie, but that's not how you win playoff games. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Boston Celtics ended up going home in the first round.
And the ball game is over, and Boston is headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. Back-to-back seasons, the Celtics will match up with the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I just had so much fun out there each and every night. No matter if we won or lost, just how we competed and always gave it our all. It was my first year, so I was just out there having fun.
With the 27th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Robert Williams III from Texas A&M University.
Smart will be entering his 5th season as a Celtic. The defensive playmaker will be a vital backup to Kyrie Irving as the C's look to contend for the NBA title next season.
I appreciate that scout. I joined in, but I shared it with some of my teammates as well as the organization and everyone else in Boston. If you guys will have me back, I plan on re-signing here next year.
Boom! The talent is there in Boston. They have more talent than almost really
Anybody
in the league outside of maybe the Warriors, top heavy, obviously. But as far as depth is concerned, Celtics have the most talent, potentially. They've got to be the biggest disappointment.
Best thing I can say is experience. We're lacking it, and because of that, we have a lot of learning to do. So we have a lot of ground to make up, and in that aspect.
Some beef with Brad Stevens is not going to be why Kyrie leaves, but this team is not going to reach anywhere close to its preseason expectations. They will be fortunate to make it to the second round.
There's no time to be disappointed. I think that you take your lessons, you take your ass whooping that they handed us, you move on. It's a basketball journey. Obviously, you want to keep playing, but they put a halt to that.
With the 22nd pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Grant Williams from the University of Tennessee.
To get to Brooklyn and all my family is nearby. The connection runs deep in terms of being around and all these boroughs, being in Jersey, and just having the connection to the Nets since I was a kid. It's been a dream come true.
Competing at the highest level. We all know Boston is doing that year in, year out. I want to be a part of something really special as far as being able to compete at the highest level and give myself the best opportunity to make a run in the playoffs.
This is a star contract. I thought after that conference finals run, he looked like a potential all-star player. Maybe not a perennial all-star player, but a guy who makes 3 or 4 in his career. He didn't look like that last year. It's a big year for him.
The Celtics enter the 2019-20 season with a revamped roster. Gone is Kyrie Irving. Enter Kemba Walker. Dynamic tandem of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are poised to take the leap to superstardom.
Jayson Tatum has emerged as a superstar and a franchise cornerstone for the Boston Celtics.
While he's taken the leap that we thought he was going to take last year, we can point to all of the reasons why it didn't happen last year. The team didn't meet expectations, Kyrie Irving's role on the team.
Tatum drives, George right there. Tatum gets a wide open look and knocks it down. Jayson Tatum ties the game.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again. Like, they're making that live.
That is it. The Boston Celtics will advance to take on the Miami Heat.
Series seesawed back and forth. The Celtics take on the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
You want those expectations if you want to be that guy capable of doing those things. You got to go through some tough things, some ups and downs. I think I can learn a lot moving forward this season and this series.
With the 26th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Peyton Pritchard from the University of Oregon.
Something to be thankful for on Thanksgiving. The Celtics announced Jayson Tatum's contract extension is official. In a statement, Danny Ainge said Jayson is someone who will be a central figure to the organization's championship aspirations for many years to come.
Today, signing all-star wing Gordon Hayward. It's a 4-year, $120 million deal. Hayward played the last 3 seasons with the Celtics, experienced some severe injuries, and he just turned 30 years old.
I'm a huge fan of Jayson Tatum. I think he's a rising star in this league. But so is Jaylen Brown. There's no doubt in my mind, with all due respect to Jayson Tatum, but Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Boston Celtics.
If this stuff continues in Boston with these guys struggling, why have we raved about Brad Stevens so much? You got Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This is the sport of basketball. You should not be a 500 team with 2 studs like that.
It is bad news for the Celtics. They have announced that Jaylen Brown was diagnosed with a torn ligament in his left wrist, is expected to have surgery to repair it later this week, ending the rest of his season.
But can the Celtics win a title with Tatum and Brown as their cornerstones?
No, you're not saying Tatum and Brown and 2 other dudes as good as Brown. If it's only going to be 2, it needs to be Shaq and Kobe in their primes.
What has happened to the Boston Celtics? It's just underwhelming for me. We were talking about a couple of years ago getting to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times, being that talented of a team. Now to a team who's talking about playing in the play-in tournament.
It's up and down season. A lot of guys had COVID. Guys dealing with injuries. It's nothing that you can prepare for. First time being eliminated in the first round. It's not the way that we envisioned this season going. I guess it's a learning experience.
Boston Celtics president of basketball operations, Danny Ainge, stepping down after the team was eliminated. Current Celtics head coach Brad Stevens expected to, quote, assume a more prominent front office role with the team.
It's a lot of changes. The roster looks great. Everything around here seems to be coming together. Been wanting us to get together and get working. We haven't had the whole team. What I've seen, I've liked. I'm even more excited.
For a first-time head coach, let alone any head coach, they would jump at this opportunity to work with our guys. And so it was an ideal fit for me, a team that has high expectations. That's where I've come from, played in the playoffs all 9 years of my coaching career, so look to continue that.
The Boston Celtics have a new point guard. Dennis Schroeder has signed a 1-year, $5.9 million deal. Schroeder averaged 15.4 points and 5.8 assists in 61 games last season.
Marcus Smart is a starter on a perennial playoff team, a former first-round draft pick, one of the elite defenders in the game of basketball. And he's getting less than $20 million a year in today's NBA economy?
Are Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown redundant as a duo?
I got you.
They're redundant.
You have to put guys around them that's going to complement them. We don't have to worry about them, quote unquote, coexistent. They both can ball.
The Celtics just really struggle to generate consistent, good offense because they have a lot of guys who are not really pass-first players. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown still learning to play that way. While their defense has been really good, their offensive issues at the other end is part of what's got them again.
It's time to break them up. And now we're at the point where they're not even a factor. Conference finals, I mean, they're a threat to not make the playoffs. How much backsliding can the Celtics afford to do before management says, okay, that's it. This is not working.
I think they got better, not contender better, but I do think they improved. Derek White's a very good player, excellent defensive player, can defend multiple positions, and where they gain is in playmaking. Derek White's averaging close to 6 assists per game.
Than he actually is. He's 6'9", 237, but he has a 7'6" wingspan. Oh! That's a man's jam! Jayson Tatum!
Here's Tatum. He comes in. It wasn't even really
Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are coming together. They actually looking like they enjoy playing with one another. So when I look at the way that Jayson Tatum is playing right now, he's actually playing like a top 5 guy in the NBA.
And the Bucks will fall short as the Boston Celtics advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, winning 4-3. Celebration here in Boston. Al Horford with the rebound, throws it up in the air, and the Boston Celtics will go to the NBA Finals. They complete a wire-to-wire victory on Miami's home court.
Our level of poise at times throughout this series and previous series, myself included, we taking care of the ball, things like that. But it's easy to look back and see and say all the things you could have done better. We tried.
Pacers trading guard Malcolm Brogdon to the Boston Celtics. Celtics are sending back Daniel Tice, Aaron Nesmith, Malik Fitz, Nick Stauskas, Juwan Morgan, and a 2023 first-round pick.
Ime Udoka led the Boston Celtics all the way to the NBA Finals. Now the team is benching its new star coach for the entire season. ESPN reporting it's over a consensual relationship with a female staffer.
Do you think the Celtics can still win the East?
No, I'm not picking them to win the East. I just believe in Ime Udoka doing in 1 year what Brad Stevens couldn't do in 7 years or so as the head coach, taking them to the finals. If Missoula proves me wrong, God bless him.
Tatum, good ball fake, one more. Tatum, oh, he caught one! Punched it on Giannis.
Willing to get off the ball early, but how about the pass?
Joe Mazzulla, at 34 years old, becomes the 19th head coach of the Boston Celtics. Remember, he became the interim head coach just a few days before training camp opened because of the Ime Udoka suspension.
Is there any doubt in your mind you guys are the best duo in the NBA?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I believe in him. We've obviously shown that we can play together at a high level. We want to be the best team. We want to win a championship. Along the way, we're the best duo. We'll take it.
As the Boston Celtics will advance once again to the Eastern Conference Finals, banner number 18 still very much in play. Well, when you say one of the great performances in Celtic playoff history, that is saying a lot.
Magic Johnson was watching this game last night, and he tweeted this: "In my 44 years being associated with the NBA, I never thought I'd see a Boston Celtics team, a franchise with 17 championships, quit."
It's off to Smart for the seventh game. Korzemba tipped in. The Celtics are going to win. There's a game 7 back in Boston.
What a finish to this game.
I came down, on my ankle, and it's tough because it kind of impacted me the rest of the night. It was just frustrating that I was kind of like a shell of myself. It's tough to move. It was just frustrating, especially, that shit happened on the first play.
It's time to break Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum up. Brown was horrible tonight. Tatum, this is the time that he's supposed to step up. If you're the front office of the Celtics, how much longer you're going to be patient? It's time to end this relationship right now.
Porzingis to me is a giant question mark. I understand the talent, I understand the shot blocking abilities, but Marcus Smart is a former defensive player of the year. I don't love it. Boston clearly coveted Porzingis, and they believe he's important to what they do.
Now, Grant Williams becomes the Celtics' second homegrown draft pick to get traded this year after Marcus Smart was sent off to the Memphis Grizzlies. Williams is set to sign a $54 million deal with the Mavs.
Two-time NBA All-Star Jaylen Brown made history this week. The 26-year-old Boston Celtics player signed the biggest contract in NBA history yesterday, almost $304 million over 5 years.
The Celtics have acquired guard Drew Holiday from the Blazers, sending Portland Rob Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 first-round picks. The Celtics are eager to retain Holiday long-term. He has a player option for next season.
There's really nothing to discuss here. I consider the Boston Celtics to be the favorites in the Eastern Conference. Boston Celtics are the team to be in the Eastern Conference, if not the entire NBA. If the Boston Celtics, as constructed, were in an NBA Finals series against Denver, they'd beat them.
But how sold are you on the Boston Celtics?
The Celtics going to win a championship. The Boston Celtics are the best team. The Boston Celtics are going to win the championship. Guaranteed.
There it is. What's the date
first
today?
Guarantee of the day.
7 years in the NBA now, we learn to appreciate the process. All the while we want to hang a banner, we can't skip steps. And, winning 60-plus games, clinching the best record in the league, it's a big deal. You're going to have to win some games on the road regardless in the playoffs to do what you want to do.
He did. Always got to rain on the parade. Look at JB. He dropped the magician. Highlight reel stuff from Jaylen Brown.
Getting the oohs and ahs from the... I'll give you that snap back.
I'm getting better every day, so in a good mood today and every day, I would say. But of course, it sucks to be out and not be able to play with my guys, but doing what I can now to come back as soon as possible.
But the Celtics, mission accomplished for the second round.
The Boston Celtics have punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals, the 6th time in 8 years.
The Celtics are heading back to the NBA Finals on another crushing finish for these Indiana Pacers. And Boston will be in the Finals for the 2nd time in 3 years and the 23rd time in franchise history. And that's going to do it. The Boston Celtics are 1 win away from an NBA title and now have a 3-0 lead here in these NBA Finals. 10 straight wins by Boston, now 7-0 on the road.
To present to the Boston Celtics the 2024 Larry O'Brien Trophy for the NBA Championship. The 2024 Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Jaylen Brown.